Oh, I get a little tingle every time I hear that tune. Morning all, and welcome to the news and views today on this International Women's Day. With the EV Café, 30 minutes of what's happening in sustainable transport with expert analysis from your EV Café crew. Brought to you this week in partnership with Iveco. Anything you can do in a diesel van, you can do in an electric. It's true. Now then, today's opinions on a stick are Sarah, shocking in pink. Hello, dearie. Sam, just shocking. And Paul, who's mobile. What are you doing, mate?
Well, I'm here at Northside Truck and Van, and today we kick off a competition to win a Maxus EV pickup, so an electric vehicle pickup with Milwaukee. So, and they are the pioneers of electric tools. So that's really cool.
Brilliant. Good. Thank you, Paul. Can we just say, on International Women's Day, congratulations to Alicia Scully, who was the first person in the house this morning at 9:58, and a welcome to Thomas Edwards, who was pre-10 o'clock. But as it's International Women's Day today, we would like to do something a little different. So if you're a fella, in the comments today, do us a favour and put in there the name of a woman that has inspired you, whether it's professionally, whether it's personally, or in Sam's case, both. Because it's likely to be the pink wearing Sarah.
I've already put it in.
So, in the chat, names, if you're a fella, of the women that have inspired you. And when we do the shout outs, Sarah is going to do the shout outs today and will only be shouting out the ladies or inspirational women, what she knows. Okay, so that's the deal. It's all about the women today, as it should be every day. And I speak as a father of 3 daughters. So yes, it's all about the girls. So grab a cuppa and plug in to what's happening in zero emission transport this week. And coming up, the electric Iveco e-Daily joins the Tesco home delivery fleet. Europcar becomes the official vehicle provider for the 2024 EV Rally and also adds the Mercedes e-Vito to its fleet, and will be joined by Tom Middleditch a little later on. So stay tuned for that. The budget 2024, and what a disappointment that was, but there is a little game that I've got lined up for that one. The fleet uptake of new battery electric vans has fallen. This is sad, but we'll be going to our roving reporter, Paul, for the reasons why. And sales of electric cars have gone up in February. Interesting. And finally, the EV Café are at the Commercial Vehicle Show, and you can be too. Let's just quickly ask the question. Sarah, International Women's Day, what does it mean to you?
This year is hashtag Inspire Inclusivity. Last year it was hashtag Embrace Equity. I like both of those. I think they're the best ones we've ever had, because it's not about who you are, what you look like. It's about what you do, what you can offer, and what you can bring. And yesterday we were at the Top Women in EV event, hosted by Tesla, but organised by Electric Drives. And it was mentioned it's predominantly women in the room, but really only 10% of women are represented at board level in the automotive industry, and that goes up sort of 15% in leadership. So why is that? Why is that? What is it about our industry that we're not doing well at attracting talent towards? Is it the way we brand it, describe it? We saw some amazing speakers yesterday, and I was really pleased to hear some feedback from some of the other people in the room who feel strongly that we are starting to change that narrative. So if this year we can inspire inclusion, then it's time well spent.
Yeah, it's lovely to see that Paul has included his chest hair today, which is lovely.
Is it the microphone? Or is that actually like...
Anyway, let's crack on with the
It is a microphone.
Tesco has deployed the first of 151 electric Iveco e-Daily chassis cabs as it takes massive strides to decarbonise its fleet operations. The 2-battery vehicle has been specified to optimise payload and range. A further 150 Iveco e-Daily 2-battery models will be deployed towards the end of 2024. Joining the Tesco Horwich home delivery fleet, this first new e-Daily enables zero-emission deliveries to customers via its modular battery setup. Paul, the 2-battery setup, is it as simple as it sounds?
Yeah, it kind of is. And what's great about that 2-battery setup is that you could add a battery later, or you could even take one away. I mean, obviously taking one away would reduce the range, but that can be done in an Iveco dealership in a couple of hours. So we've got flexibility here because, of course, in 5 years' time or 6 years' time, when these vehicles come back to market, it might be purchased by somebody that wants to do a different use case with that same chassis underneath, and allows them to be able to kind of adapt it to their own personal needs. So I love that feature. I think it's great for the new market, great for the used market, and gives incredible flexibility.
And Sam, I've got an interesting question, I think, which is your world record was done with 1 battery cell in a van, or one load of cells. This new Iveco eDaily has 2 battery arrangements. Does that challenge your world record in any way, shape or form? Can it go further and so you won't be a world record holder for long?
Well, do you know what? I hope I'm not, to be honest, because the whole point of setting records like this is for someone to beat it. So, that's good. I mean, the configuration it's a difficult question to answer, John. It depends on the size of the 2 batteries and the battery packs. The vehicles themselves, the Iveco Daily is obviously quite a large van as well. So it's got large payload, large cubic capacity, but isn't necessarily as efficient as a smaller van that can cut through the air more easily because it's got a better drag coefficient. So there's loads and loads of variables that dictate which vans are best for the longest range. But these Ivecos are workhorses, right? They're designed to carry lots of weight, lots of payload. They're not necessarily designed to be a world record distance traveling vehicle. They're all about torque, payload, and those sort of capacities, which is exactly what they're designed to do.
Can I just?
Sorry, John. It's just worth knowing that there's actually 4 battery combinations. So you've got 1, 2, 3, and 4 batteries. So you can have up to 148 kilowatt hours of battery on the back of that beast. To be fair, I think the 148 version is only available, as Sam alluded to there, on the heavier end. So whilst it might have more battery capacity, you're working with a heavier load capacity. So, I mean, you could tweak it to make the world record and smash Sam's little world record into dust, but
can't tweak it. You can't tweak these things. That's the beauty of these
no,
records.
not tweaking, as in just running it empty. 148 kilowatt hour running it empty, rather than using it for what it's designed to do.
Good. Excellent. Glad we got that clear. Now then, comment from Colin Boyton. And this is really important. Happy International Women's Day, he says. Can you help Women Drive Electric have a team in this year's EV rally? We'll be talking about this story in just a minute, but Women Drive Electric especially, this is important. George Thurman, who leads Women Drive Electric, is trying desperately hard to put together an all-female team for the EV rally in July, more of which in a minute, but she needs help. She needs support. She needs to be able to fund this thing. If you can help, can you reach out to Colin Boyton? I'll give his details in a minute to try and get that off the ground. And if we can see a fully Women Drive Electric team in the EV rally, Sarah, got to be a good thing.
Yes, I did have an hour on the phone with Colin yesterday talking all about the electric rally. And George, your name did come up. But if anybody can help, I think it is cold hard cash. It's about getting the sort of the fee paid, because of course there are many overheads. And even if it were done at cost or a minimal profit, it's still going to require a chunk of change. So let's see how we can collaborate. Perhaps it's different people, different stages, different fees applied each day. We're going round in a loop in the country, sort of the heart of the country. So there's got to be a way. And well done to George for constantly flying the flag.
Absolutely. Now then, it's the big moment. It's shout out time, people. Yay!
Oh, God.
Okay. Bit different today. Today, if you're a strong, independent, sustainable woman, Sarah is going to give you and only you a shout out. If you're a man, don't forget, comments in the box, your female inspiration. Sarah may pick a few of you to shout out. Sarah, all yours.
Thank you so much. Well, it's impossible to say so many. So first of all, I'd just like to thank everybody for putting their names in. Of course, we've got people here tuning in live. Lots of names are coming up as repetitive. Lorna McAteer, definitely. Someone called Kate Coyle. I don't know if she's there somewhere. We do have... Oh my God, what is this? Oh my goodness! Morning.
Happy International Women's Day.
We are, in fact, the GL6 posse today, but there's so many more to mention. Lots of people saying their wives, their mothers, their daughters, and I might hijack this just to focus on that for a second. We're building tomorrow today, right? Everybody we can support in our lives who happens to be female, who happens to feel what's difficult in life, which is getting ahead and feeling held back. Let's stop that. Make sure that we're raising children with resilience to cope with every challenge that gets put towards them. And it doesn't have to be an inspiring female leader. I've said that so many times. It could be anyone who inspires you to ask the right question, to do the right thing, take the next step that you want to take. It doesn't have to be a gender-specific inspiration. So I think keep the comments coming in. There's Emily Chappell's been mentioned, Miriam McGoyles, apologies for pronunciation there. Really kind of you to mention me. Thank you. Jordan Brompton, absolutely. If you get a chance to listen to her podcast from last year where she claims to be scrappy as hell, we made sure we released that on International Women's Day. We'll also be having the new Barbara Cox Woman of the Year announced later in the year. It has shifted. It's not taking place in March, but we will make sure we do. And Matthew, thank you for saying Claire Ling and Hannah Ling. I presume that's your daughter and not two wives. That would be greedy. And thank you. Yeah, Lee Sibley, just all the mums. Why not?
Absolutely superb. Thank you, Sarah, very much indeed. Interested to see Samantha Clark says hi. I suspect Paula Kirby has made an appearance at some point, and Joan Curtis is definitely in the house. Right, let's crack on. Europcar has become the official vehicle provider for the 2024 A to Z EV Rally, sponsored by Lex Autolease, taking place from the 1st to the 5th of July and crisscrossing England from A to Z. The 2024 rally will see over 50 EVs put to the test in real-world conditions, visiting new and innovative charging hubs, as well as showcasing clean energy projects on the route. Europcar are really pushing on with electrification of their rental range, as they've also now added the Mercedes-Benz e-Vito to the fleet as part of its long-term zero emissions strategy. The vans are available from key locations aligned to the ULEZ and other clean air zones around the UK, with the news following a Europcar demo program allowing businesses to trial the Mercedes-Benz e-Vito in real-world conditions for a few days or weeks. Now then, we're lucky enough to be joined by Tom Middleditch, Head of Electric Mobility and the Marketing Manager at Europcar. Tom, where are you, my man?
Link?
Thomasina, join us. Greetings.
I'm here.
How are you, my friend?
Good.
Right, so EV Rally. Talk to us about the EV Rally. You've done it before, but you've stepped up a bit now as the official vehicle partner. What's in it for you?
We have, yeah. So we did it for the first time last year when we put in a 4-vehicle team, some nicely green wrapped vehicles that got us a lot of attention, which was good. So we knew we wanted to do it again, and we spoke to Colin at Greenfleet. Frankly, immediately afterwards, I said, "Yep, we'd like to do it again next year, but we'd like to do something a bit more. What could that be?" We went away and worked for a while, and the opportunity for the official vehicle partner came up, which was perfect to sort of step up our participation and get even more involved. I mean, why we're doing it is the same as all of these sorts of things we're doing. The same reason we're a partner with you guys is we've got to dispel this fear and this uncertainty and this doubt about electric mobility. We have to do that. And for us, with customers, we're on a journey to remove as many barriers as we can. We've got to change those misperceptions. These vehicles are coming. We want to get people in them. Plus, it's the right thing to do going forward. And Europcar has that ambition globally. And, putting these vehicles to the test in real world conditions has got to be the perfect way to show what they're capable of doing. And our aim here is to, create some positivity about range and charge against the negativity that's out there now, and demonstrating that they can go further than you think. And, Colin and the guys have come up with a route that will probably challenge us a little bit more than last year, but that's part of the fun. I think that'll help us show what they can really do by us, not being on the motorways and not having motorway service stations readily at our fingertips. So I think it gives us a bit more of a challenge, and probably a better chance of showing what's really possible with these things.
And we just can't wait. Sarah and I will be driving the media cars from Europcar. Really looking forward to doing that. The other bit of this story was the e-Vito, which is now in your range. What did you learn from the business rental trials that you undertook?
Yeah, so that was, working with our business customers and giving them the opportunity with some free demos to spend some time with these vehicles. And a lot of what we're doing with rental is giving customers an opportunity to try these things for the first time. So electric vehicles are here. Lots of businesses, lots of individuals don't know how to get started. And rental is a way of getting that start without making a long-term commitment to a lease or potentially buying a vehicle. It also takes away the fear that a lot of people have about, if I have this electric vehicle now, what's it going to be like in a year's time when I compare it to something else? So the demo program was there to do that, proved very popular. So we wanted to add them to our fleet. And JC, as you said, we've positioned them strategically around the country to align with, ULEZ in London and other clean air zones. And it is that message. It's that opportunity to start and understand, where does an electric van fit into what you're doing? What types of journeys is it right for? What types of payloads can I do with this? And if you add these gradually, you can also start to grow your charging infrastructure gradually as well, rather than having to make a huge investment and you're going to switch our entire fleet. But those are available to private motorists as well, I should point out. So, if you live in London and maybe you're moving from a flat to another flat, or later in the year you're taking kids to university in Oxford, or all those sorts of things, it's available there for individuals to use as well.
Magnificent. Tom, thank you so much for all the support you give to everything that we do, that the EV Rally does, and bringing electric vans. Paul, are you frothing?
Oh, do you know what? I love this, and I noticed it on the LinkedIn post this morning. I really like the eVito. The eVito does what it says it does on the tin. It's it's quietly gone about its business, and it does, in terms of a range perspective, what you're going to get. It's quality, and I'm really happy for that. And it's great to see Europe Car taking a lead and kind of putting vehicles out there, because I think it really is helpful to get that opportunity to try those vehicles in your own environment for an extended period, and really make good assessments. Bums on seats sell vehicles. The drivers will build their confidence. The fleet managers will grow in their confidence of managing electric vehicles, and then we can see the transition grow. It's great.
So true. Tom, bless you for joining us live this morning. Thank you so much. Now go away and do some work. Thank you kindly. Love you lots.
Good to see you.
See you, mate.
Thank you, Tom.
Take care. Now then, if you want to take part in the EV Rally with Sarah and me, I did say I'd give you the details for Colin Boyton. Find him on LinkedIn. That's Boyton, Colin Boyton, or email him at colin.boyton@PSI Group Limited. So that's PSI Group Ltd.co.uk. We'll put that online as well, so that you can find the information you need and get involved in the EV Rally, not just to showcase, but to learn. And we all learn a great deal by being together, sharing information and news, and how things are truly going out there on the road. Next story is a government story, sadly, because they had a budget thing, and the Chancellor of the Exchequer, Jeremy Hunt, has announced a number of measures which will impact the transport and energy sectors in the spring budget. Fuel duty was frozen for the 11th year, which was welcomed by the AA because it brings down the overall cost of motoring and impacts on the cost of living. However, I think it's a missed opportunity. 11 years of a subsidy for fossil fuel. Seriously? The broad sectors were disappointed, renewables, and there wasn't a great deal that was there for us, but there was an opportunity there to highlight the importance of net zero, electric vehicles, renewable energy, and the acceleration to the green economy. Anyway, we don't really care about what government are doing. We're just getting on with it. So, one decent thing the government have done this week is announced or launched or even published some numbers about the average speed on A roads. So, little competition for you. What do you think the average speed on A roads was in miles per hour from January through to December 2023? What was the average speed? Sarah, average speed.
Well,
what do you think?
Some A roads aren't always dual carriageway, so I'm going to go something like, and some are limited to 56, so I'm going to say average is 48.
48. Okay, Paul.
43.
Sam.
Well, the beauty of this game going last is I'm going to say 42, but instinctively I thought 30 actually, but I'm saying 42 because it's less than those guys. So anything lower than 42 and I win.
Okay, so we've
You're
got
such an egg.
Scott Eady says 38. Marvin Samuel says 38.
Yeah, I think
Gary,
Carl
Elliott.
Gary Comerford says 28. Carl Elliott 77. You've been keeping
77.
That was
your
your
foot off.
speed.
Keeping the
to be a
foot off the.
typo.
Sharon Guy 36. Craig Salmon 40. Daryl Sharp 46. Karen Mull from. Oh, good grief!
All right, what's
Karen
the
Mull
answer?
from
What's the
Europcar
answer?
52. The answer is 23 miles per hour.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, based on all of the calculations that have been done, you know, the little guys who sit in the deck chairs by the side of the road and all that stuff, and Vascar and all that, 23 miles per hour.
Wow.
Quite stunning. I was absolutely bowled over. So, it just goes to show what a massive issue we've got in terms of congestion. And that brought me to a second load of stats. I've had such a boring week. The average delay in seconds per mile is 47.9 seconds per mile. So we are all delayed by almost a minute for every mile we travel, as opposed to if those other vehicles weren't there. That's quite incredible. A minute each per mile per vehicle. The cost to the economy of congestion is enormous. And I saw nothing in the budget to deal with any of that nonsense. Anyway, there we are. Interesting stuff. Sam, surprised by any of that?
I'm not surprised by the mileage, actually. I was expecting it to be quite low. I mean, if anyone's ever had the sort of average speed ticker on their car over the years, you can see, you know, traveling around London, for example, you know, you'd be lucky to get out at double digits, even though you think you're traveling, but actually the average is incredibly low. On a wider topic, John, of the budget, I mean, I'm just exasperated as always. I mean, the things that you suggested would have been nice. You're absolutely right. But of course, this is a budget that's completely politicized by virtue of being before a general election that's going to be announced at some point very shortly. So there's nothing else but votes. A weak attempt at trying to win a few more votes by putting a budget that people can relate to, as opposed to one that actually matters. So I just don't really care what it says, to be honest, because it's not much use to us. I think the commercial sector, as always, or the private sector, needs to drive decisions here, because the government's not going to do it.
Agreed. Andy Eastlake came up with 23. I suspect Andy had read the stats.
I suspect Andy made the stats.
Yeah, quite possibly.
Intelligent he is. Yeah.
So, thanks for playing my little game. We may feature that more regularly. Now then, February.
John, can I just say on the budget, I think what we have to realise is that, you know, businesses up and down the country, like this is Northside Truck and Van, but businesses all over are working hard to support the transition to zero emission vans. In particular, we had the zero emission van plan on the 20th of February to influence, you know, government to say, look, vans need help and we need help as an industry, and government ignored it. And I think it's worth saying, you know, particularly in the possibility of a new government coming, businesses like these up and down the country need some support on the transition to it. There's a lot of investment going into, I mean, Northside Truck and Van alone are putting $1.5 million to their dealership to make sure that people have an opportunity to go and drive and test those vehicles and get bums on seats and make a difference, just like the Europcar kind of strategy. And we need support. So that's my comment on that.
Thank you, Paul. Sarah, where is Paul today?
Was it Northside? I can't remember what you said at the start.
Northside Truck and Van. Sam, where is Paul today? Where in the world?
South side.
No.
Right. Okay, let's move on. February saw a decline in registrations of battery electric vans weighing up to 3.5 tons, falling by 119 units to 847 units and taking a 4.7% market share, down from 5.5 a year ago, according to new figures from the Society of Motor Manufacturers and Traders. Paul, I know you're at Northside Truck and Van, and I wonder what might be the reason for this fall. Is it just that people are waiting for new registrations? Is the cost of living crisis really biting? What is it that's causing this reduction?
Cost of living crisis is not the thing here, and I don't think it's February lower registrations, because that's lower registrations across everything. So it's a tricky month, and small numbers make a big difference, but at the end of the day, what we're seeing now happen is a decline in market share, a decline in the numbers. These are two things, and we're beginning to see a trend a negative trend if you look at the sort of numbers over the last sort of 5 or 6 months. And again, it comes back to what I just said. Businesses are really working hard to try and inform and educate both in the new market and the used market, and we need that support. We need the legislative support around the 4.25 tons, and we need dedicated charging infrastructure. 3 simple things that the government can focus on and accelerate on, because we can't just sit on our hands. We've got a target of 10% this year, 16% the year after, 24% the year after that. It's going to go and go and go. We've got to embrace it. We put it into legislation, and now we're just kind of going, oh, we'll see how you get on your own. Not the way to go. And the government does need to really wake up, or somebody needs to wake up and do something quickly.
Well, it's interesting what you say, Paul. Don't sit on your hands, sit in an EV. And there's an opportunity to do that. Teva have a driving event on the 21st of March where you can go out and try the Teva electric vehicle. Yeah. That's really, really important. If you want more information on that, it's on the 21st of March, Teva, tevva.com/news. And you can find information there and you can register and so on. Sarah, you were at Tesla yesterday and you sat in the new Tesla Model 3. It's important to try these things, isn't it? And to get your bum in the seat.
Yeah, and I know that's cars and not vans, but they do obviously form a significant part of grey fleet, which is what I was talking about this morning. So I was so late, but often we talk about the vehicles that exist that need to be transitioned to electric, and tying all our news stories together today, an interesting topic about congestion versus how many vehicles we got on the road. And it's worth noting that if we simply swap every single internal combustion vehicle that we have to an electric, we've already failed, because that doesn't help our economic position, that doesn't help our health position, that doesn't help single occupancy vehicles, it doesn't help our cities to thrive. So it's about choosing the right vehicle for the right job at the right time. And what Tesla were trying to prove basically is you could use their car for lots of things. But I'll shout out Lorna here. This isn't to Tesla bash. It was a great day. It really was very inspiring, etc. But she did point out that those vehicles are getting so high tech that they're almost intimidating for fleet. There isn't even indicators on the stalks now. You have to have a little lesson before you even drive the new Model 3. So I hope they're doing the right thing by making it extra complicated. But bums on seats is the way to go. And shout out to Europcar. We have Mark Newbury on our podcast, and we talked about how Europcar do allow short-term, long-term. It's a good way to try EV, and all the shows we've got coming up will have the opportunity to test and drive and learn and swap notes and see what vehicles work for you. But yes, Paul, thank you for consistently shouting out the needs of vans, and thank you personally from Paythrough for last week when you helped us with some data mining that we just couldn't get to the bottom of. So yeah, huge thanks. It's about just sharing all the time and helping fleets to work out what's best for them at the right time.
You're right, Sarah. The new car market, just to give you the comparison numbers, has recorded its best February performance for 2 decades as registrations rose 14% to 85,000 units, with sales rising 21.8% year on year and accounting for 17.7% of registrations. So an active market. And the other story that you alluded to was we're out on the road. We're helping people get behind the wheels of vehicles to feel less intimidated. And we're going to be at the Commercial Vehicle Show with a test track, which is going to allow people to get behind the wheel, give an electric vehicle a go. Sam, you're going to be there at the CV show. It's exciting time. We always love being out on the road. What do you look forward to in those live events that we do?
Well, I think, as always, it's the people, isn't it? The collaboration that we always seem to manage, and the attention that we seem to get, which is wonderful in terms of bringing people together and all the different companies that come together for these sort of events. And it's always a feel-good factor. It's a busy old time. But I also like sort of reading the temperature of the room as well, and understanding what people's feelings and thoughts are in terms of how the market's moving from all the different angles, as well as seeing all the different vehicle types, right? I mean, I'm hoping to see some big stuff at the CV show this year, of course, because that's a bit of a attention for me at the moment. So I'm looking forward to seeing what vehicles are going to emerge, what people have got, who aren't there. There's people that used to be there a lot who aren't anymore. Why aren't they? And who are the new boys that are arriving? New boys and girls, I should say, especially on today's day. So yeah, I think there's a lot to get from these events, and really understand more about what the market temperature is like in all the different variables.
Absolutely. Now, Paul, we're taking the EV Café Village to the Commercial Vehicle Show, and you can exhibit with us and showcase what you do in this sector. What else we got going on there? He's on mute. He's on mute. Paul's on mute.
Paul's on mute.
brilliant.
I'm so sorry. I put on mute because somebody came in. I forgot. Anyway, there we go. So we're going to have a couple of sessions every day where we're going to be talking to an audience of people. We're going to get some people from manufacturers, industry leaders that are going to be talking about the transition to electric commercial vehicles, whatever that is. Our area is designed as being a celebration of the ecosystem that is growing around the electric commercial vehicle sector. Everything will, well, we hope that, from charging to the vehicles to the kinds of companies that are supporting, people like Europe Car and so on. Many of our partners are already saying we want to be there, but you could also sign up to be there too. So it'll be a real feature of the show. So lots of signposting to it. We're right next to the Harris Maxis stand, which is a big stand at the end of the Hall 5, the big hall, and then we'll be to the left of that. It's going to be a really great day, real high visibility for electric transition, and that excites me for the van and the truck, and it's all going to be really good.
And if anybody wants to come and join us, if they get in touch with Richie Martin, RICHIE.martin@evcafe.org or Caroline.kirby@evcafe.org, and they'll sort you out, get you set up, and you can be there with us 23rd to the 25th of April. Of course, we've got everything electric coming up before that. I think we're done, chaps, aren't we?
Well done, John.
All right. Well, until next Friday, it's goodbye from me. It's goodbye from them. If you've got any clean transport PR or news stories you'd like us to cover, please send them to us at hello@evcafe.org. This has been an EV Cafe production brought to you this week in partnership with Iveco. Anything you can do in a diesel van, you can do in an electric. Sarah, what would you do in an electric van?
I would chuck my bike into the back of it and head over to Wales for a weekend camping, obviously.
Thank you kindly, Paul.
I would put some stuff in it and take it to some people.
That's really helpful. And Sam, what would you do?
Well, I've put literally millions of parcels in the back of them and delivered stuff, so I'm not doing that anymore. So I don't know. Maybe I'd break another Guinness World Record in one. How about that?
If I had 20 quid spare, I'd have put it on the fact you would have said that.
You're going to mention it.
It came into my head right at the last minute.
Now then, other sustainability news services are available, but this is just funner!
Butter!
The EV Cafe is truly blessed to be partnered with the AA, Webfleet, Europe Car, Plug Me In, Paythrough, Iveco, or Iveco, whatever way you say it, Zaptec, Sperry, Hydrock, Interval, Dynamon, McIntyre, Hudson, and Schneider Electric. We're the EV Cafe, supporting the transition to zero-emission transport. Enjoy the rest of your day and your weekend, wherever it takes you. Thank you so much for all of your comments, your love, and your support for International Women's Day. Until next Friday, bye!
Bye.
I do love that little jingle at the end.